Hey Sneak Peekers, we're here at the red carpet for Loving, written and directed by Jeff Nichols at the Austin Film Festival. So your first four movies were all original screenplays, but this is based on a true story. How does that affect your writing process?
Honestly, I just had to do a lot more research. It really was tricky at some point when I sat down, having done the research and done the outlining, to sit down and really start to write in their voices. You know, I'd studied all of this archival footage. I'd studied all of these photographs and interviews, and it just, I don't know, I just was kind of shut down by the idea of having to move these people around like characters because I knew they were real people. But it took me about 3 weeks, and then I got over it, and I understood that, yes, you know, these are real people, and yes, they are characters in this film, and at some point, I just have to try and understand the essence of who these people are and try and do justice to them. Even if I can't verify everything that they said, I have to think that it's representational of who they were from what I know. And that gave me enough confidence just kind of put one foot in front of the other.
That's very cool. And you are a writer-director again. Is there one aspect of that you prefer, like writing or directing, or is there something you're more naturally inclined to?
Honestly, they both feel like the same thing. It's all storytelling, and when I'm writing to direct, and so, you know, it's not like there's one hat that I take off and put another one on. One really flows into the other in terms of process. When I'm writing on the page, I really am thinking about every image that's going to fit together to construct this narrative, and so when I'm on set directing, I'm really just accomplishing the work that I was doing as a writer. That's the way it feels.
And is editing as much of those two processes? Is it as intertwined?
It is. Yeah, it's a refinement of it. You know, my editor, Julie Monroe, who I've been with since Mud, she's really amazing at allowing me to, you know, lay out this structure that I've been trying to execute for years, but at the same time she gives me ideas and she gives me her opinion, and it ends up being a pretty organic process.
And this is your fifth film, which is that's a really cool milestone.
Sure it is.
Is there any advice you've learned since your career began that you can give to students at UT? Because we have a bunch of young filmmakers at our film school.
Honestly, it's the same advice I would have given them after my first film, which is, number one, if you can write, try and work that skill as much as you possibly can. It's important. It's been important to me. You know, I think this industry rewards creativity. I think people are looking for those ideas, and if you have those ideas, if you can generate them, and if you can craft them, then you'll have a lot more control over where you go in this industry. And I think it's great if you can just direct, it's great if you can just write, but if you can do both of them, it's an extremely powerful tool. And the other thing I would say is just do it. You know, if you have an idea, don't wait for anybody to give you permission to do it. Get together as much money as you can and go make it. That's the only way people will start to consider you a director, is if you actually direct something.
Do you try to write every day?
No, but I think about what I'm writing all the time. So writing is, you know, a lot of people think you're sitting behind a typewriter or sitting behind a computer. That's a very small part of the process. The process is just generating all of these thoughts, you know, having some idea that you think is relevant and worth bothering people for 2 hours with. And so anytime I'm driving, anytime I'm walking around, I'm thinking about stuff.
So you've pretty much only done films to this point. Is that what you want to keep doing, or are there other projects you're interested in other fields?
I like making movies. I really do. But you know, I'm really intrigued by the idea of a miniseries, just because I think novels are suited to that, maybe a 6-part miniseries or something like that. I don't have anything specific cooking, but I could see myself doing something like that. I don't see myself getting into a long series anytime soon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nichols.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
You too. That's all we have from this red carpet. Make sure to catch Loving when it hits theaters this fall.